Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off our journey today with an exploration of Haitian Vodou. On this first slide, you'll see the title, Exploring the Cultural Fusion, Colonial Impact, and Enduring Legacy of Haitian Vodou, along with the subtitle, Haitian Vodou, History, Spirituality, and Resistance. Over the next few slides, we'll delve into the rich history, spiritual practices, and the resilient spirit that defines Vodou. So, let's get started and uncover the fascinating story behind this vibrant tradition. Let's begin by exploring the origins and significance of Haitian Vodou. As you can see on this slide, we're connecting it to broader cultural and historical contexts. Haitian Vodou is deeply rooted in the history of the Caribbean, reflecting a rich tapestry of cultural influences. It's not just a spiritual practice, it's a profound expression of identity and resilience. The roots of Vodou combine African traditions, indigenous Taino beliefs, and Catholic elements, which together tell a story of resistance and adaptation over centuries. This fusion highlights how enslaved peoples and marginalized communities maintained their identity through spiritual practices, especially during times of colonial oppression and revolution. Understanding this history helps us appreciate Vodou as more than just a religion. It's a symbol of strength and cultural survival. Throughout this presentation, we'll see how these historical roots continue to influence Haitian society and its revolutionary spirit. Let's start by looking at Columbus's proposal. He suggested that sailing west across the Atlantic could be a faster route to Asia. This idea was quite ambitious at the time and ultimately set the stage for European colonization of the Caribbean. Now, moving on to the traditional land trade routes, these went through the Middle East and Central Asia. However, after 1453, these routes came under the control of the Ottoman Empire, which made trade more costly and dangerous. This situation created a real need for alternative paths to the riches of Asia. This context helps us understand why Europeans were so eager to find new trade routes. Their insatiable desire for luxury goods, like spices such as pepper, cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves, as well as silk and gold from Asia, was a major driver of exploration. Ultimately, this combination of geopolitical control and an intense craving for exotic goods fueled Europeans' relentless search for new ways to access these valuable commodities. And that's how Columbus's bold proposal fit into the bigger picture of European greed and the quest for wealth, an essential part of understanding this era of exploration. Let's take a closer look at the role of the Catholic Church in European expansion. The Church played a crucial part in shaping both the moral and legal frameworks that supported these ventures. Its endorsement of practices like slavery and imperialism really helped set the stage for explorers like Columbus. After facing several rejections, Spain finally decided to sponsor Columbus's voyage in 1492. This was more than just a sponsorship. It was a moment where religious authority and imperial ambitions came together to propel European exploration forward. Before this, Columbus had actually tried to get funding from Portugal in 1484, but he was turned down. That rejection pushed him to approach Spain's monarchs, Ferdinand and Isabella, who ultimately agreed to support his journey. Now, it's important to understand that the Catholic Church didn't just support exploration. It also legalized slavery through papal bulls like Dum Diversas in 1452 and Romanus Pontifex in 1455. These documents granted Spain and Portugal the right to enslave non-Christians, effectively intertwining religious authority with imperial expansion. So, in summary, the Church's influence was significant. It provided both moral justification and legal backing for the expansion that would have profound consequences for the world. Let's delve into Columbus's arrival in Haiti and the events surrounding La Navidad. When Columbus and his men arrived, they encountered the Taino people, who were the indigenous inhabitants of the island. One notable leader, Cayanabo, responded to the Spanish settlers' abuses by organizing a successful attack on La Navidad, the settlement that the Europeans had established. This attack resulted in the deaths of all 39 Spanish settlers. marking one of the earliest acts of resistance against European colonization in the Americas. Now, it's important to understand the context of Taino leadership. Initially, the Taino chief Guacanagari helped Columbus's crew after their shipwreck, providing aid and support. However, after the settlers left behind some of their people and exploited the Taino for their own gain, tensions grew. This exploitation strained the relationship between the Europeans and the Taino, leading to conflicts. Another key event was the grounding of Columbus's flagship, the Santa Maria, on the island of Quisquaya, which is present-day Haiti. The shipwreck was a pivotal moment because the wreckage was used to build La Navidad, the first European settlement in the Americas. This settlement symbolized the beginning of European presence and colonization efforts in the New World, with the shipwreck playing a central role in establishing that foothold. Now, let's explore the spiritual beliefs and societal structure of the Taino people. They held a deep reverence for a spirit-filled world, where Zemis played a central role. These sacred idols represented gods, ancestors, and natural forces, serving as a tangible connection to the divine and the natural world. Among the major deities, Yukahu was associated with cassava and fertility, highlighting the importance of sustenance and life-giving resources. Adebi, known as the Mother Goddess, was linked to waters and childbirth, emphasizing the nurturing aspects of nature. Jurakan was the spirit of storms, reminding us of the powerful and sometimes unpredictable force of nature that the Taino honored. Their society was organized into different classes: Naborias or commoners, Nitainos, who were nobles and warriors, and Bohiques, the priests and healers responsible for spiritual guidance. Leadership was provided by caciques or chiefs, who led villages and maintained social order. Overall, these spiritual traditions and social structures reveal a society deeply connected to their environment and spiritual world, which was fundamental to their identity and way of life. This cultural foundation helps us understand the richness of Taino society and its enduring legacy. Let's talk about the retaliation and enslavement of the Taino people. When the Spanish arrived, they enslaved the Taino, forcing many into dangerous work in mines and on plantations. This brutal treatment caused their population to decline rapidly, not just because of violence, but also due to diseases and the harsh living conditions they endured. Columbus played a significant role in this violence. He launched aggressive campaigns against the Taino, which only increased the brutality and oppression. These actions marked the start of widespread violence and retaliation by the Spanish, setting a pattern of dominance and suppression. To solidify their control, Columbus requested military reinforcements and built new forts, like La Isabela. These fortifications were part of the Spanish strategy to establish and maintain their presence in the region. When Columbus returned in 1493, he found La Navidad destroyed and his men dead. This destruction was a clear sign that resistance was growing. Columbus responded with a desire for revenge rather than reconciliation, which further fueled the cycle of conflict. Understanding this history helps us see how brutal colonization was for the Taino and how it set the stage for ongoing oppression and resistance. Let's look at the early history of African slavery in the Caribbean, starting around the early 1500s. Diego Columbus, the son of Christopher Columbus, began importing African slaves in 1505. This was primarily to address the labor shortages caused by the decimation of the Taino population, who were the indigenous people of the region. It's also important to note that even before Diego's efforts, there was already some movement of Africans to the Caribbean. In 1502, Juan de Cordoba transported the first African slaves to Hispaniola, likely from West Africa. This marks the beginning of the forced African labor system in the area. Now, there was a bit of upheaval around 1500. Columbus was removed from his position due to brutality, and Nicolás de Ovando arrived with new colonial leadership. This change in leadership also influenced the way the colonies were managed, including the reliance on enslaved Africans for labor. So, to summarize, the importation of African slaves to Hispaniola started very early in the 1500s, driven by the need for labor after indigenous populations declined drastically. This set the stage for the deeper entrenchment of the transatlantic slave trade in the region. In this period, we see the founding of Santo Domingo, which marked the beginning of European settlement in the region. At the same time, the Taino people faced near extinction as their population was decimated by disease, violence, and forced labor. This era also marks the start of Atlantic slavery, laying the groundwork for future revolts and resistance. The Spanish crown played a crucial role by legalizing large-scale importation of African slaves, which dramatically changed the demographic makeup of the island. The first significant groups of enslaved Africans arrived around 1517, bringing new cultures and histories that would deeply influence the region's development. Between 1509 and 1512, Diego Columbus, the son of Christopher Columbus, became the governor of Hispaniola, overseeing these transformative and often brutal changes. Looking at the significance of the 1500s, this was a pivotal century in Hispaniola's history, shaping its social, cultural, and economic landscape, and setting the stage for the complex legacy of colonization, slavery, and resistance that we continue to explore today. Now, let's explore the early African spiritual traditions that took root in Hispaniola. Later groups, like the Yoruba and Fon peoples, brought with them the practices of Ifa and Orisha worship. These traditions didn't exist in isolation. Instead, they merged with the indigenous Taino Zemi worship and Catholic beliefs, creating the complex spiritual foundation of Haitian Vodou. Moving on, the Akan people contributed significantly by introducing their deities, known as Abossum, along with drum traditions and specific day names. These elements enriched the cultural and spiritual fabric of the enslaved communities, fostering a vibrant diversity of practices. The Gold Coast, which included Bakongo traditions, added important concepts such as cosmograms, sacred diagrams representing spiritual worlds, spirit possession, and ancestor worship. These practices became deeply embedded in the spiritual landscape of early Hispaniola, shaping many rituals still recognized today. From the Congo and Angola regions, cosmological ideas played a vital role. The communities brought with them a worldview rooted in Congo-Angola cosmology, which influenced how they understood the universe, spirits, and ancestors. The Mendi and Temni peoples also contributed by introducing secret societies and masked rituals. These practices were central to community cohesion and spiritual expression, adding another layer of richness to the island's spiritual life. Lastly, enslaved Africans from Senegambia brought traditions of ancestor veneration and divination. These practices often carried Islamic influences, which blended over time with other spiritual systems, creating a unique syncretic spiritual culture that reflects the diverse origins of Hispaniola's peoples. All these layers of tradition, each with their unique practices and beliefs, converged over time, forming the spiritual mosaic that is Haitian Vodou and other Afro-Caribbean religions today. On this slide, I want to highlight how this individual, Dutty Boukman, uniquely blended African Islamic and traditional knowledge with Vodou practices that he learned while on plantations. This fusion of spiritual traditions showcases the rich cultural resilience and adaptability of enslaved Africans. Dutty Boukman was a literate spiritual leader and a maroon rebel, possibly originating from Senegambia or Jamaica. His ability to lead and inspire was rooted in his deep spiritual knowledge and leadership. Although he was killed in battle, his legacy endures as a revered martyr and a powerful symbol of resistance against oppression. In November 1791, Dutty Boukman co-led the historic Boys' Caiman ceremony, a secret Vodou gathering that played a crucial role in uniting enslaved Africans in rebellion against French colonial rule. This event marked a turning point, inspiring collective action and resistance. Just a few months earlier, in August 1791, Boukman's leadership and spiritual influence helped ignite the fight for freedom. Overall, Dutty Boukman embodies the revolutionary spirit and spiritual strength that fueled the fight for liberation. His story reminds us how cultural and spiritual traditions can serve as powerful tools for resistance and identity preservation. On Facebook, you can find the SANKOFA Maat page, and on Spotify, there's the Mind of SANKOFA podcast, where we explore these deep connections. The Haitian Revolution, which took place from 1791 to 1804, was a pivotal moment that led to the establishment of the first free Black republic in history. It's a powerful example of resistance and the fight for freedom. Throughout this period, enslaved Africans held covert gatherings, often disguised as religious or cultural events, to plan revolts. These secret meetings were crucial in organizing resistance without the threat of immediate repression. Vodou ceremonies, like the famous Boys Caiman ritual, played a significant role beyond just spiritual practice. They fostered a collective Haitian identity that transcended ethnic divisions, uniting people under a shared purpose of liberation. One key aspect of Vodou during this time was how enslaved Africans innovated the pantheon, adding new leaders and spirits like Makandal, Boukman, and Cecil Fataman, who became symbols of faith and rebellion. These figures helped preserve their cultural roots while also serving as rallying points for resistance. Looking back to the 1600s and 1700s, we see the formation of this rich Vodou pantheon, which evolved over time to become a vital part of Haitian identity and revolutionary spirit. All these elements, the secret planning, the spiritual ceremonies, the creation of new spiritual leaders, show how Haitian Vodou was not only a faith, but also a form of resistance that played a central role in the revolution. They're all interconnected in shaping the resilience and independence of Haiti. Now, let's explore some key figures from the Haitian Vodou pantheon. First, we have Urzuli Frida, who embodies love, beauty, and luxury within the Vodou tradition. She's often associated with femininity and the finer things in life, representing the aspects of love and aesthetic pleasure that are so important in daily spiritual practice. Next, there's Ayazan, the spirit of marketplaces and initiation rites. She plays a vital role in guiding and protecting commerce, as well as overseeing spiritual ceremonies, ensuring that everything runs smoothly and with divine blessing. Moving on, we have Dambala Wido, a powerful symbol of creation and purity. Often depicted as a serpent, he signifies wisdom and the fundamental life force that underpins existence itself. Then, there's Legba, the guardian of crossroads and communication. He's the intermediary between humans and the divine spirits, opening pathways for dialogue and connection. Lastly, it's important to understand that the Reda spirits, originating from West Africa, particularly the Dahomey region, are known for their calm and benevolent nature. They form the foundation of the Vodou pantheon, embodying stability and kindness in their interactions. These figures collectively illustrate the rich spiritual landscape of Vodou, highlighting themes of love, protection, creation, and communication that are central to the religion's worldview. Today, I want to highlight how Augans, who are Vodou priests, play a vital role in preserving the ancient science of vive use during ceremonies. They keep alive a living tradition of sacred symbolism that connects the spiritual and cultural worlds. Now, the vive itself is a fascinating element. It's a ritual drawing that combines precise geometry with deep intention. These drawings aren't just decorative. They embody a form of spiritual synthesis, acting as a powerful tool within Vodou ceremonies to connect practitioners with divine forces. This idea of ritual geometry isn't unique to Vodou. Historically, Africans recognized the significance of symbolic geometry and incorporated it into their rituals and religious art. This practice enriched their spiritual expressions and helped convey complex cosmological ideas visually. Similarly, the Taino people infused their art and ceremonies with sacred geometric patterns. Think of spirals, symmetrical motifs, and symbols that represent the universe and spiritual connections. These patterns served as visual representations of their understanding of the cosmos and their spiritual beliefs. In Haitian Vodou, sacred geometry continues to hold importance. It's a living tradition, where geometric symbols are believed to carry spiritual power and meaning. These patterns serve as a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds, maintaining the cultural integrity and spiritual depth of these practices. So, across different cultures and traditions, we see this recurring theme of sacred geometry as a vital tool for spiritual expression and connection. It's really about preserving a shared understanding of the universe, one that's communicated through symbols, art, and ritual. Haitian Vodou has a rich history of spiritual and social significance. These secret societies act as guardians of balance, using strict methods to maintain justice within their communities. They emerged out of a need to resist oppression, preserve African traditions, and keep social cohesion alive during both colonial and post-colonial times. Sample, for example, are known as the guardians of balance. They are connected to martial organization, community protection, and spiritual empowerment. Their purpose is not just spiritual, but also deeply rooted in maintaining order and defending their communities. Zabap started as a form of mutual aid, a way neighbors helped each other survive and thrive. Over time, they evolved to enforce social order and spiritual justice, ensuring community stability and harmony. Then we have Bizango, which are considered enforcers of justice. These secret societies play a critical role in upholding moral and spiritual order, often acting behind the scenes to address issues that threaten community well-being. All of these societies highlight how deeply intertwined spirituality, social order, and resistance are in Haitian Vodou. They are not just religious groups, but vital institutions that help communities resist oppression and maintain their cultural identity. Haitian Vodou is much more than just a spiritual practice. It's a vital source of healing and protection for both individuals and entire communities. It teaches us the importance of maintaining balance and harmony in our lives, which is essential for overall well-being. When we talk about healing and protection in Vodou, we're celebrating resilience, how communities have endured and thrived despite numerous challenges. It also highlights the deep connections between humans and the divine, connections rooted in African and indigenous spiritual traditions that have shaped the Caribbean's cultural landscape. This practice is a powerful way to honor our rich heritage, passing down spiritual knowledge and traditions through generations. It's a testament to resilience and the enduring legacy of spirituality that continues to inspire today. Haitian Vodou fosters inner strength, wisdom, and self-love, encouraging personal growth and fostering unity within communities. It's important to understand that Vodou is a sacred spiritual practice, not witchcraft, as it's often misunderstood. Its purpose is to heal, protect personal energy, and strengthen the mind, body, and society as a whole. Ultimately, Vodou embodies the power and spiritual meaning behind resilience, community, and cultural continuity, reminding us of our collective strength and spiritual resilience.